I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, what a shame, no roll calls tonight. Roll call on the board, please.
Sure. Tracy Edry?
Here.
James Tuthill?
Here.
Tricia Wigglebazzi?
Here.
Mark St. Charles?
Here.
Michael Sedlak here. Randy Brake?
Here.
Oh, shit, I haven't brain paid. Dan Ranko? I got it.
Now, I'm not the only one that happens to. Tracy,
It's all right. I'll remember you. You like dots, don't you?
Okay,
I came up with it, I just had to dig it out.
all right, we do have a quorum tonight. We can conduct business and some fun. Next item is the approval of the agenda, and we are working with the amended agenda of 9/15/2025. Any additions or deletions from the agenda?
No, sorry.
Make a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay, at this time, we will open the first call to the public for agenda-related items. Anyone wishing to address the Township Board at the first call to the public? Seeing no response, we will close the first call to the public. And we will move on to the consent agenda. We have the approval of the September 3rd, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. The approval of the submitted bills list in the amount of $488,249.21. Any comments, questions, clarifications?
I will make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have motion, support, discussion on the motion.
Hang on just a second.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
How many ayes did I hear?
All of us.
I heard all.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't hear Tracy's, but okay.
said it.
Sleeping.
Or Trish's is the one I didn't hear. Motion passes. Just gonna have
Really?
some fun now.
I really appreciate the
All right,
support you guys.
let's go into department head reports. Chiefs, I'll start with you guys. Start with the fire chief.
Hello. The old Rescue 82 is hitting the bid auction. It was unable to be repaired, and so it's hitting the bid auction for whatever we get for it. It's on the site. We had a number of people interested in it. They're welcome to bid. It's Bidology, is that correct?
Bid Energy.
Bid
Energy. We welcome anybody to go to bidenergy.com and bid away. So it's out there. The new Rescue 82 should be, the last pieces of steel arrive on Friday and should be functional after that. We're just waiting to get it in to get made the right color, and it will be good to go. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
I have nothing.
All that walking.
Trying to save time, it took so long to do roll call, so
All
trying to
right.
balance it out.
Thank you, chief. Okay with that.
Wow.
Tricia, I'll start with you tonight.
All right, so Monday was the due date for tax collection, with it being the 14th was on a weekend. We are at a 95.5% collection for the 2025 summer taxes. My staff did an amazing job. I have to say, we had more foot traffic in the Township Hall between Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday. In between that, we had $1.8 million that came in from mortgage companies and in the Dropbox, and the other, I think, $2.5 million that we collected was at the counter on Monday. So we, for 10 hours, we went straight. I mean, four of us, just going back and forth. I just want to give my staff just such a great, appraise for what they did and how we all worked together like I can't even say it, fine oiled machine. And I just think that they deserve a lot of the credit. I mean, they're the front line of everything. And thanks to the other staff members that when we had lines, they were directing people, everybody in the township really came together. So in 2 weeks of collection from 9/1 to 9/15, we collected $20 million in taxes. So, yeah,
And the interesting part about it is that this collection, none of it goes to us.
right, we only get that 1% admin, and we collected $198,254 in that 2 weeks of collection. I don't have the full number, I think it's like $275,000 from July 1 to September 15th. So we only get that little bit of the $26 million we collected, we get just that $250-some thousand that goes to the township, 1% admin. And the interest now that we're collecting over the next, from now until we get to either 100% or until we get to February 14th, so, yeah.
It was fun to watch because, fun from my side, it wasn't fun from your side, but you'd look out there and you'd see one person being waited on and just down beside him, another person being waited on, then a third person, and you were up there, so you had like 4 people waiting on, residents at the same time, trying to get to the receiver. It was a
And
well-oiled
handling
machine.
dog licenses at the same time.
Yes,
yes.
yes. And I will tell you, thank you for the clerk's department, because we have 4 windows, 4 little areas, and I just said, and they're also collecting, I think, your voters'
Yeah.
registration stuff, so I'm just like, Wendy, we're gonna commandeer your area, but we'll put them all the way down at the very last one, so you only get 1 out of 4 of the windows, so it worked out really well, and in between that, Man IT was here swapping out our workstations, so that made it even more interesting that computers were down, but again, kudos to not just my staff, but the township, just, working through it all. So, and my next step is paying out all that money to the schools and prepping the specials, and I'm already prepping the winter tax collection, and prepping those tax bills. So that's one day after tax collection, I'm already starting for December 1 taxes, and utility billing that starts October 1st. So we don't really get a break in between. So if I'm tired, if I say here instead of yes, just please know it's been a long couple days, so, but that's it for me.
Okay, sounds good. And again, credit to all your staff. Everybody did a great job.
Yes. Yes.
It was fun to watch.
Yep.
No, I mean that in a good way. Everybody really worked hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael.
So, starting out with good news, we got absolute confirmation. We applied for a ADA grant, infrastructure grant, and we thought we were going to get it, and we had got confirmation that all the information we turned in, we did get a $10,000 grant for our reconstruction of our ADA doors here in the Township Hall. So that's just makes them a little bit better, and it's going to come out through the MEDC at their next time. Beyond that, we're preparing for the school election, which is South Line and Whitmore Lake. We're already well over 3,000 applications. It's the highest we've ever had for school elections. So I anticipate that we're going to have a pretty high turnout, especially with the early voting that we're having for the first time for school elections. So we've got preliminary approval from the county of our plan to reduce the precincts from 11 to 8, based on how the early voting went at the presidential election last year, that we can, now the precinct sizes have been increased to 5,000. We're consolidating precincts and eliminating 3 precincts, which will also allow us to eliminate 2 absentee counting boards. And all of this is a preempt to the state, which is going to force us to buy all new election equipment and not fund us for it. So we're looking at about $10,000 a precinct to do so by the time we buy all the equipment. And this is a way of saving money. It's a way of cutting costs, cutting employee costs, material costs, and on the like. So it's going well, as far as that goes. And that's my report.
Okay, for the supervisor's report briefly, I'm not sure that I covered this, but I will again tonight. We have received the redistribution of net assets from MMRMA in the amount of $82,578, which has been deposited into our retention fund. On Monday of this week, I was notified that the Michigan Court of Appeals issued its opinion and order regarding Grasshopper Gardens in our favor. At the table, you will find a copy of that opinion, along with the original judgment from the November 2023 and my outline letter of directives for compliance. All three documents were also posted on the property this afternoon, September 17, 2025. It's some interesting reading. The original order from Judge Hattie is the last document, then I've got the opinion from the Court of Appeals, the second document, and the letter on top. So it's interesting reading. So I thought, bring you up to speed. Instead of doing it electronically, I figured I'd just do it here. You can read at your leisure. With that, also on Monday, I received the draft report on the schedule of expenditures and federal awards, the single audit, from Manor Costerian, I believe. Their comments indicate that by March 2026, we'll need to review our procedures to ensure that they are up to date. Unless anything else changes, we originally quoted approximately $9,000 for this office, and I received the bill that came in at $7,000, so didn't do too bad. But I figure after all of that, the comment is that we'll review our policies and procedures and update them if necessary. That's not a bad comment. It's, I think, one of the boilerplate ones, so. But the other item that I want to bring the board up to speed regarding Green Heritage Farms, the assessor, assistant assessor, and I have forwarded all of our notes and comments to the township attorney. She's currently working on that. Once she provides her opinion, we will be in contact with Mr. Green, and we'll bring this matter back before the board. My goal is to have it here and ready within the next 2 board meetings, so we can put that to bed. And that's the supervisor's report tonight. Yeah.
One thing if I can add about the assessor vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So over this week, I've taken all the township vehicles in for their yearly detailing. Get them ready for winter, that type of thing. When I went to pick up the second assessor vehicle today, I was informed by the detailing service that we might want to put this vehicle out to pasture because there's rust holes in the floor in the passenger compartment that you can see the ground. They covered it up with the floor mats and tucked it all over, but I'm extremely uncomfortable with having a vehicle like that being driven by our employees. I took it upon myself to visit the police department on the way home, as they have 2 vehicles for sale, and the chief and I worked out a deal to get the best of the 2 vehicles that they're selling and take immediate delivery of it. It's sitting in the parking lot right now, and because I just had that vehicle, the other one detailed, he's volunteered to park it in the barn over there to keep it nice and clean until we put it on bid energy and see what we can get out of it. So the one we are stop driving has 92,000. The one that we are picking up has 86,000, but it's I think the one that we're stopping is a 2012. And it's what, a 21 or 22, chief? 21. So significantly newer vehicle.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's funny because nobody says anything, and then something like this comes up, and, oh, yeah, we got holes in the floor. We got to do something about that.
You go back to Fred Flintstone.
It was like they told me, and I went, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Did in high school.
Well, we've all had those vehicles, but not at work.
Hit a puddle, somebody got covered in water.
And that's the only other thing I had to add.
Okay. With that, any correspondence, Mike?
No.
Okay. Go on to business items. We have the 2024-25 audit report for Heifer, Hannaford, and Polka. Oh, John, how are you doing tonight?
Good, really good. I was gonna say, Mike, that was like my first car. So, anyway, I wanted to, first of all, say to the board, we appreciate you having us as your independent auditors. It's a real privilege. It's always great to come out here and work. It's such a great atmosphere. And, over the years of auditing Green Oak, you've accomplished so much that, the residents of Green Oak have to be very proud of the job that you've done.
Let me
And,
interrupt you just for a
Yep.
minute. Dawn, go ahead, come up.
Yeah, I was
so you
gonna
can answer any
introduce her, yeah.
questions.
yeah,
We
okay.
gotta call you.
That's
All right.
right. Dawn gets to sit in the hot seat, too.
Yeah, I was gonna call Don up. So, with that, Don joined us here tonight. Don has been doing a great job, in the accounting area for the township. And with that, I just wanted to mention that when you're doing the accounting in a township, it's like doing it for 20, 30 businesses. So it's pretty difficult and it's nerve-wracking, just to say. But anyway, Don stepped in, and also along with that, it's really good that you got the Woodhill Group involved. They've done a great job in numerous areas, getting the accounting caught up to help Don. And then also, they were really good at updating systems of the township. So, and I know that Trish can verify that, different things that they've helped her with in the treasurer's office, but you can't say enough about the Woodhill Group. And then with Dawn, you have a good one here. She's doing a great job. So it's very important for us as we come in for our audit to kind of get the feel of what the controls are, what kind of job's being done, and whether we really can rely on what's going on. And we really see a good future here with Dawn. And again, I think you've already maybe discussed or will discuss at some point in the future with the Woodhill Group, at least coming in quarterly, continually doing that in the future. That would be a good idea. They've done a great job. They kind of came in and threw everything at the records and everything here, get everything caught up, did a great job. And so that would be a good partnership going forward if you would consider that. So then I'll move on to, as far as the audit and the other areas. So one thing that's important, obviously, this audit report's 144 pages long. If you want to, go to sleep early tonight, just pull this thing open and start reading a couple of pages, you'll be asleep. You don't need any sleeping pills or anything else. But anyway, we finished the audit. Everything's in great shape. We issued the highest level of opinion that we can issue. It's called an unmodified opinion. And that's very important with the state of Michigan. So the state of Michigan is going to look at that. That's the number one box that they check. And then they look at the condition of your funds. And what they do is they determine then that they will continue with your state shared revenues, which is very important. And should the township want to go out for any future bonding, that will help get a good rating in that area with the state of Michigan. So, and outsiders looking at the bonding. So that's very important. I just wanted to mention also, I'll kind of skip up to this because, again, the treasurer, Trish, mentioned some things about how the tax season was finishing up and everything. And since Trish joined Green Oak Township, it's been a really, really a good thing that we've seen, a really significant improvement. She's very diligent, does a great job. And the job, like as she was mentioning, all the money coming in and out, it's one of the toughest jobs in that money has to be dispersed timely, within 15 days. And as you mentioned, not of this collection, not very much is coming to the township, this the admin fee. Most of it's going to the schools and other units, and those all have to go out timely, in which she gets, she's right on with it. The money comes in and she timely disperses, and everybody gets their money and everyone's happy. So that's good, but she just does a great job with that. On the one other area too, I'm also jump to this too. And again, when I'm making comments, I look as if I was a board member, what would be important to me, or what you should know, what's going on there. So the other item too is, again, as Green Oak has grown and grown and grown, Cash is over $28 million now. And I will have to say, it's pretty impressive. Last year, Trish was able to earn almost $1 million of interest. So if you think about it, there's a lot of money coming back and forth. You got to manage all that. This is still grandma's money. It's got to be risk-free, for the township residents, and still able to make $1 million that can go towards different expenditures of the township. Now, this is within different funds. It's within sewer, it's within general, it's within fire, it's within police. It's all different places. But, again, it's kind of a pillar area that we look at that, that's important if that pillar's strong, and your pillar's strong. So I want to mention that. So she does a great job.
Thank you.
As far as on the financial, and there's a couple last comments here. So overall, you have the main funds, general, fire, police, and I just kind of want to give you general terms of what occurred last year. So you have a lot of activity. You guys are, making decisions during the year. You're building a brand new facility. There's a lot of money coming in and out. But the good news is last year, you were able to increase your fund balance in the general fund by 10%, which was over 340-some thousand, which was good considering everything that was going on. And within the general fund, basically, by doing that, you're able to make significant improvements to the cemeteries, which is very important, both Maltby and Lakeview. So one thing we do see in some units is they don't really sometimes spend the funds in those areas to take care of it. And, it's really good that you're taking some of those general fund monies, putting them aside to make those improvements to those cemeteries that we all care about. So that is a good thing that we saw. Overall, in the other two funds, I'm just going to mention the police they were able to make a significant increase in their fund balance. They started out at 1.8 million and they're around 2.9. And the fire fund basically started out at 700,000 and they had a decrease of 139, ended up at 561,000. So again, on both funds, you got to still watch your budgeting, keep an eye on staying within budget and making sure that you have the funds to take care of it. The last item is just about total revenues of the township. So if you look at, you don't have to pull them out, but in the pie chart graphs, if you have those, it really tells the whole story of the revenue. So if the residents look at this, it's important to see that of $4.2 million in the general fund, the taxes are only a smaller part. It's only like 40%. Actually, the state shared revenues are the most significant part. And those are the items that you always got to keep an eye on. So where do state share revenues come from? Income taxes for businesses and sales tax for businesses, really. So they're looking at, when you look at that, you're kind of looking at the economy in Michigan. Again, 2008, obviously, the economy wasn't so good, it got better, but we don't know where it's going right now. So you got to keep an eye on that. And then one other item with that, the state legislature has made some comments about possibly there might be some cuts in that state share revenue. Now, that could significantly affect all of our units. So that one you have to keep a close eye on in your spending. And I think when I was mentioning something like that, well, when Mike and I were talking about it, that's why he's trying to reduce some of his costs in elections, because we might possibly get those cuts. And again, those revenues are significant. The state share revenues last year were $2,180,000. So if there's a significant cut there, that's going to come across a lot of areas that you're going to have to take another look at your budgets and try to figure out how you're going to make that up, depending on what they do. So we'll have to see. But overall, like I said, Township's in great shape, and you're going in a great direction as you have. You continue to steer the township in a great direction, and you should be proud of that. With that, I'll just open up for any comments you might have.
One comment I have, just so we're talking about the same thing, the state legislators passed the budget on their end and sent it over to the Senate with a 30% reduction in the revenue sharing. So that could really impact. And fortunately, it won't impact the police and fire because they're on separate millages and funded 100% from that. But everything at the township level, where the funding comes at the township level, would be significantly impacted.
About $630,000.
All right.
It's a 30% cut, just to the general fund, because like you said, they're separately funded.
So we're taking steps now to prepare for this.
But
I'm
it-
sure it won't end up that much, but.
I was gonna say, is that a reach for a stars percentage and then they settle at something less, but even so, that's
But
huge.
even still with that, no, as we were talking, we got elections coming up, and what we're hearing, at least what Mike has said, is that we're gonna be mandated to purchase new equipment, but there is no money coming from the state. So if you look at, okay, we got revenue sharing going down, but we got expenditures going up of another $300,000 possibly to buy equipment. This is going the wrong direction. And, and this is why, we had a lot of residents, why didn't you have the large item cleanup day this year? Well, there's a reason. We have to balance the budget. And we have to keep it going. So we have to plan for, and I hate to say it this way, but it's the rainy day. It's no different than anybody's, I call it their checking savings accounts. You've got to plan for that future. And here we are planning, putting money away because we see a downturn. When I drive through some of the commercial areas in the township, and I go through one area, I hate to mention the name, but there's 9 stores empty. The following weekend, there were 11 stores. 2 more went out. And when I see what's happening in the building department, as I said earlier, the building department is holding its own, less homes coming in for building permits, but a lot more decks, patios, garages, so, but they're holding their own. And that's a sign of things to come. And we haven't
We
seen.
saw this in '08.
Yeah, we saw this, so we have to be diligent, and this even goes out to both chiefs. We have got to watch every dollar, we have got to watch every penny.
John, you said the recommendation, if I recall you right, is that we have 1.5 times our budget in the fund balance. Is that correct?
Yes,
That's the recommended?
yeah.
1.5 times expenditures.
Correct.
Yeah, and again, you've done a good job maintaining your fund balance so that you are, you're pretty strong right now, but again, that could change very quickly.
Just like that.
Okay, anybody have any questions for John?
I just have a couple comments.
Just like that.
Over here is, first off, Dawn, honestly, amazing job. I mean, with the challenges that happened back in August and stepping in and being as accepting to the changes that when Woodhill came in, again, props to Woodhill as well, because I think between your open-mindedness and mine, that it's not the way things were always done, that we were like, let's come into the new age. And of course, we consulted with, the auditors to make sure if these things, were these going to work with the audit procedures? Because I've never been this in-depth with an audit procedure. So I think everything we put into place, I think, has been a lot more work right now. But as we're going forward, I think it's going to be cutting that work down for us. And again, Dawn, Lindy coming in, doing the job that you guys do in accounting, my treasury staff. I think that this being my first full audit, my first full fiscal year audit, I was terrified. I'm not gonna lie, John, I told Mike and Mark, just come out with that wooden thing and just, come at me, because I wasn't sure what to expect with
Right.
all the challenges we went through.
Yeah.
And I think that I felt really good when you guys were here and we were doing all of our stuff. And we started preparing back in August, because I'm like, okay, what challenges are we gonna go through? So Dawn and I worked through a lot of things like, let's do this, let's do that, let's keep this, and just be prepared. So I just, again, Dawn, you sitting here, and we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna be able to, do financials and treasury reports to the board once a month.
Yeah.
That we're gonna get to that point, so you guys can see all that, and if you have questions, not just the financials or the APs. But good, and today kind of scared me a little bit, not only state shared revenue, but that the Fed just cut the basis points, 0.25.
0.25.
So my Michigan class rate
Yeah.
that we have our money in, my $1 million that you say that we made last year having money in Michigan class is being cut. And I wouldn't say drastically, it's 4.36 down to 4.29 right now, but it's going to start declining. So that's where we just have to prepare that, like you said, the budget cuts. And I'm looking for other avenues of investments, and I've already went into another bank and put in a CD and a couple money markets we're looking at to just broaden it, diversify it, safety, liquidity. We want the yield, because with no yield, we don't know where it's gonna be. So, like I said, I think it's just a great team between, accounting, clerk's department, that, I think we did a good job this year, so I just wanna give your department big props and mine too, yeah.
And
I feel good about this audit.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
Yes.
Well, and I would agree. For 25 years, Mike and I have been doing this, and nothing against anybody, but it's so refreshing now to go to Dawn or Lindy and with a question. And look, did we pay this? Did we do this? Did we do that? And bam, I've got the information and it's accurate. There's no way for me to convey other than the fact that it's thank you, thank you, thank you.
Aw,
So you're doing a great job.
thank you so much.
Comments, questions? All right, John, you're looking for us to receive and accept and direct your firm to forward it to the
In Michigan, yeah.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion on the motion?
Great job.
Great job, yeah.
Yes.
This has to be a roll call.
Roll call. Okay, we do have one roll call.
Well, yeah.
It's Dan.
Tricia Wigglebassy,
Here, just kidding, yes.
thank you.
It threw me off.
Just put that.
Yeah, you threw me off. Myself, yes. Trustee Brake,
Yes.
Trustee Ranko.
Yes.
I remembered. Trustee Hedry
Yes.
and Trustee Tuthill
Yes.
and Mark St. Charles.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure to work with your firm, and,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Okay, you have
Thank
one
you.
other item here for us tonight.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, next item is Pfeffer Hannaford Delta Service Contract Update, which you all should have in front of you or in your packet.
Well, I can't get to the back.
Huh?
IT has my iPad screwed up, so I'm gonna just look over. I've already read it, but,
I'll go get copies.
no, I can read over his shoulder. It's okay. Sorry. My computer got updated, so I can't get into any of my mechanisms right now.
That's,
Well, we
not-
gotta talk about, talk to them, because they updated Lee's computer, and when they did that, passwords got changed, now he can't get his emails on his phone. I said, I'm not even gonna try to attempt that, to link that phone with the Exchange server.
We're kind of laxed here at these meetings, so I will just let you know, when I called Lee and he's like, I set that up 18 years ago. I said, you set that up 14 months ago, buddy. And he goes, anybody know their password for their email? I said, yes, we do. So they did reset it, by the way, so I will get that from David.
It took Cynthia and I to show him how he can go and check his passwords.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he went in there on his phone, he only has one password.
Yeah.
Out of everything. Yeah, so, this isn't working.
yeah. It's good cybersecurity, I will tell you. I will tell you. Yeah. You have to go through a lot to go through what we went through, changing out 16 workstations in like less than 2 days, so it was a lot. Thank you very much, I appreciate you.
Okay, John, if you would go ahead and explain your update contract.
Yes, so I mentioned to Mark and Mike that we had a previous contract with the township, and each year we'd end up coming back with some additional time to finish the job because it's so big. And so what I proposed to them is that just for the next 3 years, we would just update the total contract price rather than coming back with the extra work that it took to do the audit. And I also explained that this is very comparable to your neighbors, both Brighton, which we audit, Heartland, which we audit. And so it's basically right in the same boat. So that, I was just asking if we could get that updated.
One of the things we did talk about too, without names, there is at least one other community pretty comparable to what Green Oak Township is. They're using a different auditing firm, and they're paying about $70,000+. So I think all of us that are using Pfeffer, Hannaford, and Polka we're getting a good deal. Good deal, and I will say, they do put us through our paces, so we get good audits. I'm comfortable about that.
If the board doesn't mind, I don't have a problem making a motion to approve the contract with Pfeffer, Hannaford, and Polka for fiscal years 2026, 2027, 2028, as presented.
I will second. Sorry. Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support.
Yeah, I know we're going to do this, so just. give me a
Yeah, how
second.
about that? You thought he was getting off easy tonight?
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Trustee Brake? Oh, we have to vote on it first, don't we?
Yes, that's, yeah,
Okay, otherwise you're just
you're
calling
doing a
the
roll
name.
call.
Yep, trustee
Yes.
Brake? Trustee Ranko?
Yes.
Trustee Edry?
Yes.
Trustee Tuttle?
Yes.
Treasurer Tricia Wigglepazzi? I hate you guys. Mark St. Charles?
Yes,
And myself,
Mike
yes.
says like that.
motion passes.
I hate you guys. I
We really have a lot of fun here.
Yes.
Well, that's why we enjoy working with you so much, you know, so that's, you know, like tonight, given the audit report, you're gonna get me, you know, a partner that's worked on it for many years, so it was very enjoyable, you guys, and again, like I said, you do a great job for the community, so, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
yep, you
Have a
too.
good night.
Yep.
Okay, Resolution 15, 2025. Huh? If she wants to.
Yeah, Don, you can leave if you want, or you can stick.
Thank you for your effort.
Yes, thank you, Dawn.
Thank you. Chief, Chief, if you could, we have this resolution. This resolution, my understanding was, and it's somewhat the same format, was approved at the Brighton Township Board Monday night, basically coming from the Brighton area fire. So could you help the board
And Hamburg
understand
also,
why
yes.
we're here tonight?
Yes. Nobody makes you change the oil in a car, but if you don't change the oil, sooner or later, the car will let you know it's mad at you. And that's pretty much what's happened with our radio system in this county. There's several parts to our radio system in this county, and I'm going to talk about 3 of them. VHF paging, which is what the fire and EMS department uses to make these things go beep to tell us we have a call. 800 radios, the portable radios that fire, EMS, and police all use to communicate with each other. And then the tornado sirens, where a radio sends a message to a tornado siren, making them go off when the tornado's coming. All 3 of those systems are horribly under-repaired and under-maintained, and in fact, getting long in the tooth. And that's happened for a lot of reasons, one of which is that Livingston County goes through 911 directors like college football teams go through coaches. They change regularly for reasons good and bad. And as a result, two directors ago, they canceled the VHF contract for maintenance and repair of the paging system due to personalities. Not so much money, personalities. And the current director didn't put it back in place. And so the VHF system did not get maintained. And sure enough, just like a car without an oil change, eventually it blew up. And it blew up royally about 4 weeks ago, to the point that people were missing calls. In fact, we got toned out for a structure fire, and it was at Wendy's. It was a K-12 cutoff lithium battery saw that caught fire and was seen by people at McDonald's. It was that big of flames, and they were working on Wendy's. And I heard the police get dispatched to a structure fire at Wendy's. Conveniently, I was in the roundabout, so I was very close and got there. But we had to ask Central, by the way, do we have a structure fire? Because our beepers didn't go off. Not so good. There's been a few others like that too. That system, there was a lot of meetings. I brought it up with the supervisor. We met with the clerk. We talked to Commissioner Gross, who was helpful and unaware of the problem. That unawareness shared by other commissioners went away really quickly after that, and things started getting done, and the system is now Band-Aided back together. It works right now. Ask me again in half an hour because I don't know the answer. But at the moment, it works. It is still desperately in need of an oil change. It is still desperately in need of a maintenance contract. It is still desperately in need of some new parts. That's one thing. The next thing is the 800 towers. When they put in the 800 megahertz system back in literally 2000, the first tower was installed. It was supposed to be the first of 5. The other 4 didn't happen, ever. We still have 1 tower for Livingston County. Right now, if a police officer were to walk into this room, you would hear a bonk, which is saying that the radio's out of range because he can't get out of this building to get to the tower. Because there's 1 tower in Howell. There obviously needs to be a tower not just in Howell, but in the corners of the county. And that hasn't happened yet. There is money available for it in some ways, but it hasn't necessarily happened. The last thing is the tornado siren computer. Central's been unable to set off the tornado sirens for months now. We have multiple redundant backups. We can set up our own sirens, no problem with that. If there's a tornado coming, people in Green Oak will know. We take care of that. But Central's been the one that was supposed to do it. They've been unable to because the computer broke and literally they didn't have funding to replace it. Emergency manager found out about this, was horrified by it, and said, "I'll buy the computer." She said it before I could say it. But the reality of the situation is that our tornado sirens weren't working for months because for want of a desktop. And not a lot of this information was made aware to the commissioners, so we're making it aware to the commissioners. We're making it aware of the commissioners in a number of respects. There are lots of things and lots of pieces to go into this. There's been a committee of fire chiefs and police chiefs and EMS director working on this for years. Hasn't really gained traction. The reality is that we are in a county that prides itself on a very low tax rate. Of course, the downside of a very low tax rate is that you have trouble providing services. Now, we have only one, for fancy word, it's called a PSAP. That is a 911 center. We have only one in the county. The county commissioners control it. By law, that PSAP can levy an amount of money to every phone. It's called 911 surcharge that can only be used for communication stuff. If you look at your bill closely, you'll discover you pay that. And if you bought a phone, if you're registered in Livingston County, you pay $1.85 a month for a 911 surcharge. And that money is used to fund the 911 center, build the building, stuff like that. It can be used for anything to do with emergency communications. By law, that number could be as high as $3 a month. It's only $1.85 now. If it were to be $3 a month, then those other towers could grow. Then the maintenance system for the VHF pagers, and perhaps a transition, they've talked about it to 800 megahertz, but we don't know because we don't know what the coverage is going to be without those other towers. But possibly transition to a 800 megahertz paging system, possibly not. That's a ways down the road because we don't know the coverage. Things like the tornado sirens, things like the clerk discovered when talking to Commissioner Gross, the FAA lights on the towers that the county owns. You got to flip the switches, change the bulbs occasionally. There's just a lot of oil change stuff that hasn't been done on a regular basis. And it could well be because the 911 directors have been turned over so much that by the time they learn stuff, they move on. But one way or another, it's not getting done. And we're hearing from the point of view of fire chiefs that it's a funding problem. Well, there are funds available via the 911 surcharge. There are funds available via ARPA. There's funds available via a lot of different places that the county has options and stuff like that. And we're trying to put this and keep this on the radar of the commissioners until such time as they change the oil and get us a little sticker for the radios that says, change it again in 3,000 miles. And that's what we're looking for. The last thing I want to talk about with the 800 radios is the fact that, if you remember the Ford Fusion, it blew up at 80,000 miles, so you had to buy a new one. Your Apple iPhone, it stops updating, you have to buy a new one. Well, Motorola is real good at that with radios too. Our 800 radios have what's called an end of life. They're built to die. They have to be replaced regularly, just like a fire truck, just like an air pack that only lasts 15 years because you only get the bottle hydroed 3 times. The radios are like that too. And we're using some really old ones that are already past end of life. They cannot be repaired. They cannot be reprogrammed. They just work until they fall out. We're cannibalizing parts to keep them together. We bought new ones with the board's approval, and we keep doing that. But there's a lot of radios, and there's a lot of radios in the county. And right now, there are everybody from county sheriffs to firefighters to EMS using older radios because there needs to be a system. The county used to purchase the radios with 911 surcharge money.
Yep.
That was how it started. That was the expectation. But then there was this building that came along and some stuff like that and some other things changed as the people changed, and that went away and we're left to fund it ourselves. We need a system that provides not only for maintenance of the 911 system, the VHF and the 800 and tornado sirens for that matter, but we also need something that plans for a cyclical replacement because these things die just as predictably as anything else with an end of life. You know, you would never buy anything these days and expect it to last forever. But that's almost what we're doing with our radios. And that's not going to work because in reality, they're not radios, they're computers nowadays. They are very, very complex machines. They cost $3,000 to $5,000 each. They have to be programmed, they have to be reprogrammed, and they take a while to get on board. And then they last for a few years, and then Motorola stops making parts for them. And then a couple years after that, they stop making the program for them, and the state says you can't use them anymore because they can't program the system anymore. So it's a major problem. And it is, we've tried the politically correct route. And we're being a little louder now because when the pagers didn't go off, obviously that's like the car smoking as you're driving along. It's telling you that there's something really wrong. And we don't want to get to the point where we miss a call. We'll screw up 100% of the calls we don't know about. So we want to make sure that we know about the calls when they come in. And that's basically the resolution.
I think when you brought this to mine and Mike's attention, you know, and we jumped on it, you also had mentioned, without getting into names, with another community where there was an emergency. And out of 50, I think the number was 50 firefighters.
6 got the call.
6 got a call.
6 got the call. Yeah.
That in itself is scary as all get out. And I passed by the Wendy's when you guys are there, and to find out that we didn't get a call. That's scary. We need, and I guess we're here with this, you know, to try to be the squeaky wheel and start to raise the awareness of what's going on. But I'll tell you, and I'm not afraid to say it, somebody with a family member who has very, very serious conditions, that after we got done with our meeting, I called that family member and I says, if you have to call 911, the next call you make is to me so I can make sure that Chief Gentry got the call. Because I don't have confidence that 911 dispatch out of Howell is going to make the proper dispatch to send my family member the help.
Yeah, this is so concerning. It's like
Yeah.
we're settling for Band-Aids.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
this could-
we're
this
happy
could
that we're happy that we have a Band-Aid because 2 weeks ago we were just bleeding, but we need to fix the problem.
I mean,
And that
one
involves-
missed call
that
can
involves-
cost lives. There's nothing more important than the health and well-being of our residents.
I want to pitch in a couple things. Kevin shared with me, Chief shared with me a while back on one of the siren tests, that in the county, 25 sirens did not go off.
Thank goodness.
Now,
They
all of
didn't, they
ours
didn't
did.
actually communicate back and forth. They had no communication during the test. They were being pulled and they didn't communicate during the test. So the mothership was not talking to the sirens.
So if you think about that, And I look at things, I'm always looking at things from a liability standpoint. If our sirens don't go off, we're exposing the township to significant liability. If our firefighters don't go to a call or the police don't get a call, we're looking at liability towards the township if we didn't do something about it. I'm not going to get into the names who did it, but I will say that I called our county commissioner and said, I've never called you before. And you were in the room as well as chief. I said, but you gave me your number. I'm calling you now. We have a problem and we need immediate action on it. He jumped on it. He came in the following Monday to pay his taxes and met with us at the same time. And that person at that time said, look, we're sitting on $16 million for this tower project. And I'm thinking to myself, then why don't you let some of them moths out of that wallet and fix this? So it is garnering attention. The resolution that you have in front of you is similar to the one that the fire authority passed. I took the one that the fire authority passed and that Brighton Township passed and changed it to a singular township, singular fire department. And after I got through changing it, I distributed it to all the other municipalities
That
in
was
the
my
county.
next question. Everyone's aware of this. I mean, is there
I
something
have-
more we can do?
I have sent the resolution to every single municipality in this county. And Hamburg passed the exact wording that I spread out to everybody Monday night? Monday night.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night,
And Genoa, I think,
or
is,
tonight,
yeah,
or tomorrow.
yeah, it's in HMI too, if you want to read the
That
story
was my
about
next
BAFA.
question too. Are
Yeah.
they gonna get the
Yeah,
minutes
it's-
from
it-
this?
A story went out to WHMI
Today.
that created a lot of angst up at the county commissioners. I guess the head county commissioner is perturbed at all of us because we're bringing it to his attention. Frankly, I don't care.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're perturbed at
boo-hoo-hoo.
them. They
That's,
dropped the ball. We
It's on
did it.
social media. I actually was reading it today, that
Okay.
some of the other communities in WHMI's article, so it's out there too, so it's getting out to the public.
Yeah, they'll have to do something at this point.
People have a right to know.
You bet. So as soon as we found out about it, as soon as Kevin brought it to us, we got on the phone within 5 minutes and was calling the county commissioner and taking care of it.
Chief, have you ever seen an audit of 911 dispatch?
I have not.
That might be something we might want to look at.
They've been collecting the funds the whole time, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but
And
see
they
what
did,
happens.
they did build they built a new 911 center. It has a lot of equipment, it has capabilities, but there are things that are not getting fixed as well.
What the county commissioners do is when they see an outside source, they say, oh, yep, pass this millage dedicated to 911, and we guarantee all the money will go to 911. So if the millage was bringing in $1 million and the county was giving it $1 million, the county pulls that $1 million back so they can say, look at how much money we're spending, and you're getting the same money you had before. So it's just a shell game at the county, and the county's been doing this, bragging about the fact that they're low taxes. Well, low taxes and poor performance.
Well, it's like this. Again, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And when I hear stuff like this, and we are dealing with
People's lives.
People's lives, this is totally unacceptable. And I really don't give a hoot. I had more colorful words, but a hoot, what any commissioner or anybody has to say. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about our
People's
residents.
It
lives.
should be top of their priority list too.
And I think it is becoming there and it is getting there. There was certainly, when we talked to our commissioner, there was certainly an unawareness of the situation. So perhaps it hadn't been passed to them from their department head, as you might expect from
That-
your department heads.
That could be the case.
But it's there now, obviously, with the commission chairman making a statement to WHMI. They're obviously very well aware. It's their full-time job. They meet every day. This stuff should be getting fixed.
Well, yeah, if we brought awareness, mission accomplished, you know, and again, if we can bring some resolve by all of us getting it, you know, into this, then a mission accomplished. And, and I will say this, probably only time you'll ever hear me say this, but, no, I'll take that back. When we contacted Jay Gross, and Jay Gross came in here to see us, I will say, my feeling was Jay was kept in the dark. He was not given the information, and he was genuine in his comments to us, and he jumped on this. So I'm gonna say kudos to Jay for doing that.
Yeah, we kind of threw the grenade in the room and you see what's happening.
Yeah, we threw him a grenade, that's.
I am more than happy to make a motion to accept resolution number 1525, County Communication Systems Repair and Maintenance.
I'll second that.
All right, so
Okay,
hang on a
we have
second.
motion and support.
Hang on a second.
Wow, we ended up with all roll calls.
Could we put it there in a call for an audit?
That'd be,
I think that's a separate for you.
yeah, it's separate, but I think that's.
Yeah, I'm sure it exists. I just haven't seen it.
And it does not have to be a roll call. We can do this one on voice vote. Well, no, we'll do resolution, sorry. I was trying. Give me a
I know you
break.
were. You're not getting out of it, Mike.
All right, fine. Trustee Tuthill.
Yes.
Treasurer Teresa Rizabazzi.
Yes.
I'll get it out, just give me a break. Clerk Sedlak, yes. Trustee Brake.
Yes.
Trustee Ranko.
Yes.
Trustee Edry.
Yes.
And Supervisor St. Charles.
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolution is adopted.
And I will report back at my next department head meeting, what, if any, progress we have to report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you.
Steered up.
All right, with that, okay. Lakeview Cemetery Road paving. I'm gonna start out with this, since, but cemeteries normally fall under Michael, but, looking
We've been
at.
talking about this for quite a while.
Yeah, we have. But, driving through Lakeview recently, we got Russell Spiegelberg over there to grade it. And as I was driving on the graded road, I thought, man, this thing is hard packed. This would be easy to pave. And with that said, when we met with Nagel Paving out to do the emergency services entrance, I had the estimate. I said, hey, why don't you go over there to that cemetery, since you're here in the area, you're gonna be paving, take a look at paving a path around Lakeview Cemetery. And he did, and he came back, and without giving up too much, this price for paving the cemetery came in a lot cheaper than I thought it was gonna come in. This is 4 inches of asphalt for a cemetery road, which will last forever, plus 4 inches of 23A limestone underneath, 10-foot wide. So, Michael?
It's something I wanted to do to the cemetery for quite some time. And we've gotten prices before, but they've been to the point where we didn't have the money. We've been very diligent about saving money in the cemetery care fund. And I think right now we have $265,930. $700. And when I started out as clerk, it was zero. So we've done pretty well on saving money over the years. And the board has been generous with a small donation to that every year to help build up, but the sales of the plots and everything that we can profit off of that also goes into that fund.
And he even sold 2 more today, so that
3.
added to your budget. 3, I'm sorry, I
3.
apologize, yes.
One of the biggest complaints I hear is when it rains, it gets muddy out there. So I hear that complaint, and of course, I also hear the complaints from DPW that it's really difficult to snowplow out there. So this would make it a whole lot easier to snowplow the cemetery. And, and we'll be coming back with you, because Michael and I are getting some,
That's the second phase.
the second phase is some fencing for here, and also up at Maltby, we're looking at doing some fencing, some tree removal and stuff, so sprucing that up. And when you walk through the cemeteries, you start looking at headstones and dates, and especially Maltby. What did we find? Some in there that were like 1820s,
1820s.
1830s. You know, there's some history there, and I think we owe it to the families who have family members interned there to do a good job and clean it up, so.
So, and the fencing that we're looking at is an aluminum, black, no spike top, because people will climb over them, so we just flat bar. And we're gonna add an additional gate up at Maltby for the crews to go in and out of, and put 2 gates down at Lakeview. But it's only gonna be across the fronts, because the rest of it is done. So this has been part of a plan. And if you think about it, the last time we spent any major money on the cemeteries was back in the early 2000s when we cleared out over 500 trees out of Lakeview Cemetery, because it was so overgrown.
Yeah, the thing about this is, again, too, if they're here paving here, it's not that far to get down to Maltby, so you don't have the big mobilization costs, so.
Lakeview, you mean?
Are you
Lakeview,
looking-
excuse
Are you
me.
looking for a motion to award the contract to
Yep.
Nagel? Okay,
Yep.
I'll make the motion to award the paving contract for Lakeview Cemetery Road paving to Nagel Paving Company in the amount of $38,975.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. You know what this requires?
Yeah, I know. Clerk Sedlak, yes. Trustee Brake,
Yes.
trustee Ranko.
Yes.
Trustee Edry,
Yes?
trustee Tuthill,
Yes.
treasurer Tricia Winkle-Bazey, I got it that time,
Yes.
and Supervisor St. Charles.
Here. Yes.
Here.
We'll tell you that story later.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, going on to cemetery fees. Michael, this one's yours.
We haven't adjusted cemetery fees in over 3 years. We always, when we look at this, we go ahead and look at a survey of surrounding cemeteries, commercial and also municipal. And our prices still remain at less than half of any commercial cemetery and below that of a couple surrounding communities. There are some communities around here that have ridiculously low prices. I seriously do not know how they are able to maintain the cemeteries at what they're charging. We looked at these. What we're finding is we're selling more of the half lots. So this is good. But over the last 3 weeks, I've sold 5 half lots and 5 graves. So people are hurrying up and buying them because we know the prices are going up, or I'm asking that we have an adjustment in these prices.
I'll make a motion to approve that, because when I saw the cemetery lot prices, I thought that was like lower than typical, so I would say, I'll make a motion to accept the updated cemetery fees for 2025 as presented in the board packet.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. This one, you don't have a roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion for a roll call.
Okay, we can do that.
Too late.
Okay, any discussion items needed tonight?
I just want to do one more prop to Mike's department and Wendy especially for the active shooter training
Oh, yes.
that we did.
Fascinating.
And I meant to mention it to Mike if he wanted to say something at his report, but it was a really great thing that I think the township really needed, township employee-wise, and it really kind of opened our eyes on the little things. Not to get into anything that's happened this week, because we don't want to get into any of that, but it just really kind of showed the staff that when you're just kind of sitting there going day to day, you just think it's a typical, normal day, and then when you do that kind of training, you start thinking different ways. So we've implemented just our own little nuances, I think, throughout,
And there'll
and
be more to come.
there's gonna be more things to do, but I think it's making the staff now not only be more vigilant and alert, but also feeling safer from the discussions that we've had, you know, being in the township daily, of what we're gonna do to even make them feel even safer. Not that they don't feel safe, but after active shooter training, your eyes get open a lot.
And that was presented by a local FBI agent who was on the tactical teams for a number of years.
Yep.
And he came off of the tactical teams, and now he's teaching this to
Yeah.
people. And the things that he was teaching us, and the facts and figures and all that, are pretty amazing.
It was good.
Yeah, I
It
think,
was well worth closing the township hall for 3 hours to have that.
Yes.
Yep.
I think one of the things that I got out of it too is, you know, just a greater awareness of what's going on. And, you know, we have this camera system here, and I know, you know, you can't go in and out. Matter of fact, I can't even go to Tricia's office without her seeing me coming in. But with that said, I took one of my old Surface Pros that I had, set it up, you know, it's got a bad battery, so I leave it plugged in, but I set it up with cameras, so now, I know Tricia's watching, I'm watching. From both ends, you know,
Two
so
opposite
that both
sides of the
sides,
building.
we've got a set of eyes out there. And I even turned the volume up a little bit, so I, you know, at least if somebody comes in screaming, yelling, you know, we can hear it. But-
Well, they'll hear me before the microphones.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I will say something, I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, there's somebody down in the front lobby. And they're all looking, they're like, how did she know that? Well, I saw it on the camera. They didn't see Rachel with the person that had a medical incident.
Yeah.
And everybody came in, because again, I'm louder than the microphones.
You know, you didn't catch Al hitting the floor.
I wasn't here yet.
But,
Yeah,
yeah, there was a
it's-
lot of things that we
yeah.
picked up that day that were just eye-awakening. And my, you know, I've always been concerned because we're right here on the expressway. Well, being here on the expressway with the old configuration was one thing, but now, in and out of this place is fast. I mean, you know, somebody that wants to do some serious damage here, well, that's what they call it, is damage, they can be out of here if that's their intent fairly fast. So, I mean, yeah, it was interesting class.
Well, it's sickening that we're in an age right now where South Lyons schools have been closed for 3 days.
Yeah.
Because somebody hacked their system. And you're right, we're close, somebody could do something and get on a roundabout and be gone in a New York minute. And people are being shot, or before I left here, there were 3 Philadelphia police officers were killed
Today?
today.
5 shot, 3 dead.
Yeah, and so, you know, I don't know what's happening, but,
We have to be on alert.
Yep.
The silliest little things, the silliest noises we hear. Somebody heard the thud when we had a medical emergency, and Mark thought it was typically a noise he's heard in the past and didn't even second
I thought
think
somebody
it.
dropped something in the basement. I
Yeah,
hear it all the
had
time.
no
trucks going
idea.
by over here, and there's
Yeah.
all kinds of noises
So-
all day long.
We are definitely more aware,
But I think,
Your surroundings.
even more.
I think
I
what,
always think.
what it did is it got us talking about some other security measures that we can take in our lobby area. And, you know, if somebody's coming in with the intent to create bodily harm, they're going to do their best to get in here and do it. But the more that we can hold them back, you know, delay them to get people out and, you know, responses in, there's some things we can do. And
Working on
we've
it.
got all the employees thinking about that.
Yeah.
And we got the employees thinking from one side of the building to the other, because we both have different perspectives of somebody coming in. Okay, what would you do? What would this side do? How would you get out? You know, and who's gonna be the one that's gonna try to, you know, if you can, deter that person while everybody else is getting out? It's getting us talking. I think that's the key, is talking and being aware.
So thank you, Mike.
The schools,
definitely
of course,
appreciate
have
it.
been all on top of this too. There's things that are going on in the school that nobody knows about.
I'm sure.
So thank you.
Welcome. It was fun. It was fun, actually.
One other quick item, a discussion item, it could be committee report, is I have talked to the lady for Story Walk. Everything's ordered, and we're looking at sometime very tail end of September, first part of October, that we'll receive the stuff. Now, when and how we get it put in, if it gets put in this year or we store it, we're still talking about that. And Brian is working on getting some more clearing out at the Coleman Park, so we're heading in that direction. Any other discussion items? Committee reports? Executive session? There's none needed tonight. With that, we'll open the last call to the public. Shaking head no. At this time, we'll close call to the public, and we stand adjourned.